So hello, everyone. Again, my name is Mark Beck. I'm a healthcare security architect with Palo Alto Networks, as introduced, a global enterprise cybersecurity company. And I'm joining you from my home office here in Southern California. So it is early morning for me, but I am very excited to be here and speak to you all on the topic of data security and digital health this morning. Thanks to Dr. Kaczynski and Sao Paulo School of Medicine. So let's dive right in. I'm going to skip this agenda since we have only a few minutes here. So let's start by talking about some of the key trends we're seeing in the industry that are impacting the state of security for healthcare organizations. Healthcare organizations continue to accelerate many digital transformation efforts, with most having completed the efforts of digitizing their medical records and adopting EHR systems. And COVID-19 has certainly accelerated other transformation initiatives, such as building a robust hybrid work environment and reassessing their business continuity plans. And improving patient experience is another huge focus for healthcare organizations, as you all know today. Starting with improving clinical outcomes and pivoting that value-based care model from the traditional volume-based and fee-for-service type of models. So this transition is driving increased adoption of interoperable applications, services, and connected devices, and enabling innovative patient-facing services such as telehealth, which you all have been talking about today, the digital front door, the remote patient monitoring systems, and so on, are all part of this equation. Now, healthcare, of course, is one of the most highly regulated industries globally, and protecting patient privacy and complying to regulatory requirements, whether it be your own LGPD or HIPAA in case of US, or GDPR in Europe, and other compliance standards such as PCI are continue to focus for all healthcare organizations today. On the innovation side, we have new and innovative medical technologies that rely on data and data analytics, helping organizations deliver care more effectively and efficiently. Most organizations are expecting their adoption of technologies such as machine learning, AI, and cloud computing to support the consumption of these innovations. And lastly, we're seeing heightened activities with mergers and acquisitions, especially in private healthcare settings, where non-traditional players such as payers, insurance companies, and even retail are creeping into the provider space, forcing some of the health systems to quickly expand their coverage or join a larger, a bigger system for business viability. All these trends that we have touched upon are reshaping healthcare security strategies as new technologies and adopted and new services introduced. They expand overall attack surface greatly, and new threats require new security tactics as well. And ultimately, digital health and this growing ecosystem of connected health means cybersecurity is no longer just a technical issue, but a patient safety issue. I'll go ahead and skip through the CIA triad. I know most of you are not responsible for securing your hospital systems today, so I'll do my best to make this relevant for everyone. What I want to do is sort of cover the threat landscape and some of the challenges that the industry goes through today. So ransomware, a perfect example here. There are many types of cyber attacks that can cripple a healthcare organization. But let's just take ransomware as an example here, as this has the attention of the public globally today. Ransomware attacks traditionally relied solely on making your enterprise and medical data inaccessible by encrypting the data after the attackers breach a hospital network. Now, of course, many organizations have already fallen a victim to these type of attacks. Some are able to recover quickly with minimal damage and downtime. Others end up crippled for multiple days or even weeks in some cases, having to rebuild their systems over a number of days. Some decide to pay the ransom in hopes that they will get their data back. We have, however, been seeing these attackers also try to steal your data and threaten to release stolen sensitive data to public if the requested ransom payment is not made. So this means that organizations that had proper security in place and that can quickly recover from these type of attacks still end up having to pay ransom to these attackers to prevent the privacy breach of their patient records and damage to their reputations. We've also seen these attackers leverage additional attacks, such as using botnets to launch denial of service to your hospital systems as another leverage to make you pay. And what's really concerning though is that last part here. And most recently, we've observed these attackers exfiltrate patient data and then go after the patients directly, harassing them, threatening them, your patients, your customers. So there was a case reported in Finland not too long ago where a mental health institution had their data breached. And after refusing to pay the ransom, the attackers went after the patients from the records that they have stolen. And a few of those patients actually ended up having to pay those attackers to keep their information private. So this is really the nightmare scenario for any healthcare organization, something you do want to avoid at all costs. And where is healthcare industry placed in terms of other industries for cybersecurity? Well, the Palo Alto Networks has a threat intelligence and research team named Unit 42. And this data is from one of their reports where it's showing the healthcare as the top industry that are most often targeted for cyber attacks. Now, other third-party reports all show similar results, putting healthcare at the top or the top two industries that are most often targeted. Another study puts healthcare at the top of having the highest average cost resulting from a data breach above all other industries. And the longest time taken to identify and contain breach incidents over all other industries, again, as you can see here, with the mean time to identify and contain stats. So why is healthcare having such a difficulty and difficult times with improving their security posture and ability to quickly respond to attacks? Well, I'm sure there are many reasons why, but we won't have enough time to discuss all of them. But here are some of the major ones that we can briefly touch upon. First of all, healthcare organizations have some of the most complex dynamic environments, as you know. The complexity from having different types of data, requiring different protection requirements, to having to support many systems and applications with known vulnerabilities due to technical debt, or just the nature of the hospital having to support these systems and devices with extremely long lifespan. And of course, being a hospital or healthcare delivery organization, IT and security teams must support that uptime, that crazy uptime requirements that are nearly impossible to meet. And in most cases, they have to do this without having to having access to proper testing or staging environments, which really makes things more that much more difficult. And again, being a highly regulated industry, there are all sorts of challenges with regulatory compliance, audits, and assessments. And traditionally, data security has not been one of the top priorities for healthcare organizations. I think this is certainly changing these days, but the effects from the past still show up as having limited funding and resources to make significant security improvements. And lastly, the increasing adoption of unique devices, such as connected medical devices, IoT devices, really creates that security gap, as the conventional security solutions are not really capable of protecting these unique devices out of the box. So I've talked about a lot of challenges so far, so let's talk about some of the solutions or recommendations. Now, this may not be too relevant to some of you who may not have responsibility of managing IT systems or security systems, but at the very high level, what are some of the leading healthcare organizations around the world doing to address these challenges? And again, there are a number of strategies that we can discuss here, but for the sake of time, I'll just bring up two items here that I think are very relevant and timely. So first, there's this concept of zero trust, which I'm sure some of you may have heard already. Zero trust is really a holistic approach to security based on the idea that any security controls can be breached. And thus, trust as an inherent element of security should be eliminated or minimized, meaning every transaction should be inspected and verified. Zero trust brings together other security principles such as the least privilege, defense in depth, and security by design for your overall security strategy. The most important aspect in implementing zero trust in healthcare organizations is having that visibility of all traffic, as much of the contextual data. What I mean by that is, the user context, what application it is, what device it is that they're using, and all the other telemetry data and the service that they're targeting, as well as having that mechanism to enforce your security policies based on all those parameters that I just talked about. How you go about each step can be different depending on the use case and solutions you're using, but zero trust should also produce a consistent security experience for all access scenarios, whether the user is at home or at the hospital or at a remote clinic, and whether they're accessing an application running in your on-prem data center environments or from public cloud. One area where many security products today fail to deliver is that verification process cannot be a one-time event. Security inspection and validation must occur continuously. I'll leave some links to zero trust resources at the end of the slide deck for more information, and including a very detailed zero trust architecture guide for healthcare organizations. And moving on, another strategy or security architecture I would like to bring up is what the industry calls Sassy. So this stands for Secure Access Service Edge. Sassy is a modern security architecture that combines today's WAN technologies, such as SD-WAN or VPN, with comprehensive cloud-delivered security capabilities to really streamline access to resources that are outside of your traditional data center settings. Sassy really supplements your existing perimeter or perimeter security stack by adding another security stack in Cloud Service Edge to allow more of a direct internet access from your remote clinics and employees working from home, or anywhere really around the world. Sassy improves the availability of your clinical systems from remote sites and your remote employees by eliminating or minimizing unexpected downtime in many cases, and automating recovery efforts of the network connectivity issues. And as enterprise resources begin to move out from the traditional data center settings to public cloud or SaaS applications and third-party hosted services in some cases, this Sassy approach really enables more of a direct access to those resources without having to tunnel all your traffic back to your data center where the security perimeter is, without creating additional security gaps. This approach will also help you improve digital experience for your staff, your providers, your patients, as the converged solution has complete visibility of the traffic flow from the user device, the last mile connecting the user or the remote clinics, the middle mile, the cloud connect, and in some cases, the cloud applications, such as this application that we're using today, Zoom. You'll find Sassy today is also used to secure work from home employees, and as I mentioned, remote clinics, but its use case can also be expanded to secure and optimize telehealth sessions that's very relevant to the audience here today, and protect remote patient monitoring ecosystem, and efficiently help organizations ingest and securely ingest health data from these external partners or medical devices, whether it be a consumer device or hospital at home type of systems for remote patient monitoring or treatment. You'll also find some links to Sassy resources in the resource page I will add. Those are just a couple of high-level strategies that I think is very relevant and timely for the cybersecurity scene in healthcare today. And then really in conclusion, adopting these security strategies such as Zero Trust and Sassy architecture enables your organization to not only improve security, but also improve digital experiences for your employees and patients. It can also enable the consumption of modern medical innovations, such as precision medicine, personalized medicine, and other technologies really quickly and safely, and then provide you with a sound security architecture to secure evolving connected health ecosystem and what the future may bring. As I promised, here are some of those links to those resources. I have also included my contact information here. Should you want to reach out to me directly as well, I'll always love to answer any questions or just to talk and discuss current events and security issues as well. I hope that this session was useful to you today. Thank you for listening in.